Hello everybody and welcome to The United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news, sponsored by Unibet. Remember, if you haven't got enough transfer news from me today, get in the link in the video description where you can get all the transfer news, breaking news. Got some fantastic writers on the Unibet vlog. In fact, there's a really good article in relation to Harry Maguire and how it's his dream to come to Manchester United. So make sure you give that a read. The link is in the video description. Harry Maguire, how long till he's signing for Manchester United? But today's show, we're going to be talking about not Harry Maguire. We're going to be talking about Paul Pogba, potential replacements, lots and lots to talk about. But first of all, I just want to bring you a story from L'Equipe in France about Ndombele. We know he's gone to Spurs, but very interestingly, they were saying Manchester United were monitoring Ndombele, very interested in putting a bid in for Ndombele, but basically held back because they didn't know what the situation was going to be with Paul Pogba. Whether there's any truth in that, I don't know. Obviously, people who want to be negative about the transfer window will believe it. Those who are half glass full will just go, well, what's happened has happened, so we didn't get Ndombele. I think more interestingly, Telemons could fall into that equation. We could see Telemons sign for Leicester because we're still waiting to hear what happens with Paul Pogba. But Paul Pogba is due at Manchester United today or tomorrow before flying out to Australia with the rest of the squad for the tour on Sunday. And he will be on that plane. He will be on that plane on Sunday, regardless of whether he leaves. Some Spanish outlets are saying they expect Paul Pogba to sign for Real Madrid next week. I think that's a bit optimistic. I'm not saying he's not going to sign for Real Madrid, but I don't think it'll happen next week, and I definitely think he will be on the plane. If he didn't want to be on that plane, he should have been back in training this week to push it. But will Pogba come back and want to stay, or will he force a move away from Manchester United? And if he does force a move away from Manchester United, what are our options? Which is what we're going to be talking about today, because there still are options out there. Even though Rabiot and Ndombele and Telemons could be going, there are some decent options for United. But I do think that we probably are getting very close to the conclusion of our transfer business, which sounds ridiculous, because some people would say, Mark, it's not even started. What are you talking about at the end? But I think realistically, Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka are done. And I think Longstaff, Maguire and Bruno Fernandez, that's 5 signings. That could be it. Maybe we get a bonus player like a right winger if Lukaku goes. But I think those 3 signings, we pretty much know that they're there to be done. And if they do them, that could be it. However, what we don't know is, if Paul Pogba does leave, we're going to have to do more business. We're going to have to dip our toe back into the water. And it is a big if. I think De Gea will stay. Pogba, I'm half and half on this. I think it's logical he'll stay for another year. I wouldn't give him a new contract, but if he pushes it, if he forces a move, he will have to go this summer, because that's what happens when people put transfer requests in and force a move. It's impossible to keep them. So if Pogba puts the transfer request in, how do we deal with it? Well, there's talk of Saul Niguez. We spoke about him a little bit earlier in the week. There's talk of Saul Niguez, and actually, what did I say on Monday? 2 weeks ago on Monday, I said I don't think we'll do any business. We didn't. A week ago on Monday, I said, I think we'll do 1 business this week, and we did. This week on Monday, I said, I think we'll do 2 signings. It's Friday. I'm wrong. I'm wrong, aren't I? We're not going to do 2. But with regards to Paul Pogba, if he leaves Manchester United, what do we do? How do we go? That's what I want people in the live comments in the comments below to get involved in today. Saul Niguez, we've been linked to Saul Niguez. Right, again, we've been linked to Saul Niguez in the last 24 hours. From Spanish reports, Manchester United would go for Saul Niguez if Pogba left. Look, it'd be a very, very good signing for Manchester United. Assuming we get Bruno Fernandez and Longstaff, if you then brought in Saul Niguez as well, you'd have a very balanced midfield there. Saul Niguez can play CDM, he can play box-to-box. He's more about the tackling and the movement of the ball than creating and scoring goals like Pogba brings to the table. But you don't have to go and get like for like if Pogba goes. So Saul Niguez, you've got Bruno Fernandez, you've got other players in the team who can be creative. Saul Niguez would sort of be the upgraded Herrera for me, and that worked quite well last season with Herrera, Matic and Pogba. So I would like Saul Niguez, but the noise out of Atletico Madrid is we've lost a few players this summer. We're not just, they've lost Godin, they lost that left back to Bayern Munich. Was it Rodriguez? They've lost Griezmann. Yeah, they've got João Felix, but I think they want to build on that. And losing Saul Niguez, I don't think they'll do that winningly. So the only way we could sign Saul Niguez is to go, there's £150 million for Pogba, there's £130 million for Saul Niguez, because that's his release clause. Would we do that? I can't see United spending £130 million on Saul Niguez. So I don't think that will happen, to be honest with you. As I move to my left, Van der Beek of Ajax, I think he's a player that everybody's sleeping on, and he would be a very, very good signing. I've said, 22 years of age, he's got more creativity in. If you compare James Van der Beek He used to be in Dawson's Creek, James Van der Beek. I'm not talking about James Van der Beek. I'm talking about Van der Beek at Ajax. If you compare him to a Saul Niguez, actually, yeah, Saul Niguez is further ahead of him. He's 2 years older. But Van der Beek can do that box-to-box role. He can't really do the CDM role like Saul Niguez can. He'd be more of a box-to-box attacking midfielder. He can do those two roles, whereas Saul Niguez is more of a CDM box-to-box. So they're different in that way. But that might be a better player for United to go for as a replacement for Pogba because he's got more creativity in him. I really like him. He's linked to a lot of clubs. Real Madrid are looking at him as an alternative to Pogba themselves, which is why we should be looking at him as a replacement for Pogba because Real Madrid, if they don't get Pogba, they're probably going to get Van der Beek. So if Real Madrid do get Pogba, we should get Van der Beek because that's the way it works. But also, I really like the player. So for me, he would be good. What's the situation with him? Ajax are always ready to sell. If they get the right price, they're going to be ready to sell. Ziyech, maybe United should be looking at him as well. We've said that before. De Ligt's obviously going to go. De Jong's gone. And I think Van der Beek will go if somebody puts in an offer between 40 and 50 million pounds. So he is an option for Manchester United. But remember, these are only going to be options if Pogba goes. The third option on there, James Madison. What you've got to get your head around is if Paul Pogba leaves Manchester United, everything goes out the window. £200 million, I think that's what we've got to spend, and I think we're spending that on James, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Fernandez and Longstaff. And that's the summer. That's the summer that Manchester United have got planned. Pogba is part of next season's plans. If he suddenly goes, whatever United have got planned about those 5 signings is irrelevant. That's done. That was the summer's work anyway. Pogba goes, you've got a whole new pot of money you've got to replace him with. So whilst I don't think United will sign Madison if Pogba stays, if Pogba goes, suddenly United have got a pot of money and go, well, Madison's back on the equation again. I don't think Leicester want to sell Madison. I don't think United are going to go anywhere near Madison. But if Pogba leaves, he becomes an option because he is Premier League proven. He's 22. I think he's only going to get better. He's got goals. He's got assists. And he'd be exactly like Van der Beek. He would be exactly what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants. That player in his early 20s who's got potential to get better, who's going to see the club as a step up. So yeah, Madison would be in the equation. But this is all hypothetical if Pogba goes. I don't think Madison is an option at the moment, but United with £150 million in their pocket, I think suddenly Madison does. Of course, you've got people like Rakitic. I don't see him as an option. I think he'd be a reasonably priced option, but at 31, look, that's not what we should be looking to do. 31-year-olds, especially after that game against Liverpool where he got annihilated by the press, I wouldn't want that. And I'm not talking about the media, I'm talking about the quick football of the Premier League. Yuri Telemons, again, yeah, he is an option for Manchester United, of course he is. But I think the Telemons one's interesting. You've got Christophe Terrer, who's a Belgian journalist, saying that, look, he would prefer United to Leicester. You've got links that, Solskjaer likes Telemons. For the last few weeks, we've been hearing that United have Telemons on the list, but he's not a priority. He's only a priority if Pogba goes. He hasn't signed for Leicester yet. I just wonder whether one of two things will happen. One, he'll just get impatient and sign for Leicester because he wants to be pre-season started now. Because, of course, Telemons at the moment will be training with Monaco and he doesn't want to be doing that. So he might just go, sod this, I'm not waiting, I'm going to Leicester. Because the Pogba deal is going to take some time. If Pogba goes, and there is maybe in the next couple of days big noise that Pogba is going to go, then maybe Telemons will go, whoa, I'm going to wait for Manchester United. So it's still a possibility, but I do actually think he'll end up at Leicester. Niguez, Madison, Van der Beek, Telemons, Rakitic. I think that would probably be the 5. Thomas Partey doesn't play for Ghana until Monday night in the AFCON knockout stage, so he's not back anytime soon. £43 million release clause. Another Atletico Madrid player that they won't want to leave, but he has got that release clause. A lot of United fans like Partey, but it's very quiet around him. Very, very quiet indeed. Maybe it's quiet because he's part of the AFCON. Maybe it's quiet because United aren't in for him. But he would be a decent signing for United. I think he's 25, 26. Lots of energy. Got that tenacity. He's good on the ball. Can play a number of positions in the midfield. It'd be a very good signing for United. I just don't think that we're in for him at all. Longstaff. Again, story yesterday that Manchester United are trying to rush through the deal for Sean Longstaff. He was actually pictured back in training for Newcastle yesterday. So maybe that injury isn't as severe as some were saying, that he might not even be able to train in pre-season. Maybe he actually can. I still don't know whether he's actually ready to play games yet, but United are clearly going to go forward with that. And then Lukaku, there was an interesting story yesterday that Inter Milan may just absolutely divert their attention away from Lukaku, even though they really want him. because they can't afford him, and they may be looking at Llorente from Spurs or Dzeko, which would be a bloody nightmare, because if Inter Milan don't sign Lukaku, I don't see anybody else doing it. And I think that is something we need to be realistic about. I was on about it last night, and I wasn't very happy about the fact that, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came out with that statement after the Everton loss that, you know, I want to be successful, and some of those players today won't be part of that journey. Well, they're all part of the journey at the moment. They're all on the tour. None of them have been got rid of. But that happens quite a lot, doesn't it? You can want to sell a player, but they can still be at the club. And I think with Lukaku, he doesn't want to be here. We want him to go, but he's such an expensive player because it's only 2 years ago we spent 90 million on him, including add-ons, and he's on about 200 and something grand a week. This is the problem United have got. This is the potential risk you have with Martial and Rashford, because if one of them flop, they've got a 5-year contract on 200 grand a week. How do you remove a player like that without taking a huge loss? And that's the problem with Lukaku. I think if Lukaku was worth 50 million, he'd be gone. But because he's so expensive, it's a problem for Inter Milan. They want the player, but they can't afford it. So we could end up in a situation where Lukaku is still a United player next season. And it could happen. It really, really could happen. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with it. But it is Friday. It's the end of the week. United are going to be flying out on Sunday. Will we get any business done before Sunday? I doubt it now. Will we be doing business over the next week? I think we will do. I think, you know, this is going to be a unique tour where we actually are doing business while the tour's going on, because we don't normally do that, but we're going to have to do that, because if we wait for the tour to be over, they're back on in August, basically, which gives you a week. We can't. That is something that people are losing sight of here. You could wait till August to do your business, and you could barter, but is 5 million... Look, let me use an example here. If Bruno Fernandez, if Sporting Lisbon want 55 million and we're willing to pay 50 million, and if we barter we can get him for 50 million in the first week of August, it's worth paying the 55 million now to give him a month on pre-season with his new team. That 5 million would be worth it. So it depends what we're negotiating here. You can't negotiate all the way till August when you could have had a month with that player in the pre-season, and that's what Ollie wants. He wants these players, because remember, we're going to see a massive change with Manchester United on how we play. We've been a lazy team under Mourinho. We're going to be a team that plays a lot more energetic and higher pressing and quicker football now under Ollie. So you want these players to be part of that very, very soon. So I hope that we'll see a couple of deals, maybe 3 deals done in the next week or so. We shall see. We shall see. Please do smash a like on the video, everybody. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Remember the link in the video description with Unibet. It's the Unibet vlog. It's a vlog where you get loads of transfer news and breaking news. There's a fantastic story there on Harry Maguire and why he wants to come to Manchester United. Link in the video description for that. Go and give that a read. I'll be back at 8 o'clock tonight live, and obviously any time today if there is any breaking news. You never know. You never know. There might be some. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all soon.